welcome to another 31 Days of Horror 2020 video. Yes, in fact, it is the final 2020 video, because I managed to squeeze in one last film. I think it's number 32. I think I managed to get to 32. I'll just pull it up here. Yes, 32. And that film is Kill Zombie, also known as Zombibi. And with a title like Zombibi, you might think it's like Middle Eastern, something along those lines, maybe like Indian or something. No. While in Amsterdam. Yes, this is a Dutch flick. Believe it or not, this is a Welgo USA release. So, I mean, Welgo doesn't do a lot of horror films and does mostly Asian. So getting a Dutch horror film from them, I was definitely looking forward to checking this out. And with, you know, that on the picture, I figured this was going to be totally rock and roll, right? No, this is a zomcom. The back it says, if you cross Shaun of the Dead with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, you'll get Kill Zombie, from the Hollywood News. And that's kind of correct. It is definitely a zomcom, but I mean, this film is from 2012, so it's well after those films, and I don't think it really adds anything new, and the stuff that it does add new, it's not like it's consistent. It's really all over the place. Yeah, so being a Dutch film, I will say that there isn't, the people involved, I've never heard of them, and when I looked up what they've been in, I haven't heard any of that stuff. It's, as far as I can tell, all Dutch productions. It's directed by, and I'm probably going to kill all of these names, Martin Smith and Erwin van den Eshoff. Yeah, two directors, and I've never heard of anything they've done or pre or post. In fact, I think this may be the first feature for both of them, or at least one of them. It's written by Tij van Marl. Or Marl. I don't know. I don't speak the Dutch. And again, didn't know anything he's been in or written. But he has written something that's called the Dummy the Mummy series of films, and I'm guessing it's a series of family adventure horror type movies for kids, and there's a few of them. So I mean, there's those for if you're into, you know, the genre and you want to check something out. Dummy the Mummy. So yeah, those are the people involved with making this film. So what's it about? I'm going to give away a little bit here. Essentially the beginning of the film. We've got Aziz, played by Yahya Gayer, who was also in the Dummy the Mummy series. And he's kind of schmucky type office worker. Doesn't really, you know, he's the bottom of the totem pole type thing. It starts off with him essentially getting phone calls at work from his brother Mo, played by Mumun Uled Radi. I think they're of Turkish, they're supposed to be like Turkish, both of them, descent type thing. And Mo is he's kind of one of those, thinks he's big, but really he has never ever done anything. So Mo is at some kind of pool party, and he's phoning his brother saying, you know, you got to get down here, this place is hopping, why are you working? Working is for chumps. You know, so Mo has always got the big ideas that never amount to anything, and Aziz is the one who actually, you know, works and gets things done. So Aziz thinks his day has finally come when he finally gets asked out by the office hottie, Tess, played by Nadia Poshman. And so he figures, oh, finally my day has come. This is the best day ever. But of course, he's not the only one who has his eyes on Tess. His boss also likes Tess. So when he hears that Aziz has got a date with the office hottie, he essentially fires him for these phone calls that he's getting from his brother, and tells him to, get out, leave right away. So he leaves, and he goes over to the pool party where his brother is. And, there's a little bit going on there, and then eventually Mo ends up doing something that causes the owner of the house party to get a little upset, and he sends his boys to deal with Mo and Aziz as a result. And those boys are Jeffrey, played by Sergio Hasselbank, and Nolan, played by Uriah Arnhem. And this lands all four of them into jail. So they're all in jail, and this is where we meet up with a hottie police officer, Kim, played by Gigi Ravelli. Yes, her name is Gigi. That's her real name, apparently. Whatever. But, she's this police officer, and she's, blonde bombshell type thing. And of course, they're all just like, yeah, right. Why? How are you a police officer and all this kind of stuff? So they essentially all end up going to sleep in the jail. And that night, the night that Aziz is supposed to have his date with Tess, he's obviously not showing up because he's in jail. Well, perfect opportunity for his boss to make the move on her. And while he's trying to make the move on her, out of nowhere comes this meteorite type thing from space. In fact, it is the space station. So the space station crashes all over Amsterdam and right into the building, this office building where they their company is located. And so clearly you get where it's going, right? So the guys wake up and power's gone out over the city and all this kind of stuff, so their cells all open up and they're like, all right, we're free. Okay, sure. Like, that's just how it works, right? Just because the power goes out and your jail cell opens up, you're free. So a bunch of them, they all decide they're going to get out there, and they get up, to the top and look around, and it's like, where are all the cops? There's no cops there. It looks like there's been some kind of kerfuffle there. They don't really notice the dead bodies all over the ground, but they head outside and, hey, apocalypse. It's like there's nobody around. It's just been like things are destroyed everywhere. It's like Riot City, right? Like somebody's gone through with a riot and destroyed everything, like you would assume in a zombie apocalypse, right? And eventually the zombies start showing up, and hottie police officer says, get back into the the jail building. It's not safe outside, and so yeah, comedy hilarity ensues. Everybody ends up back in, and they are like, okay, the news is saying there's a safe zone. We got to get to the safe zone. Meanwhile, Aziz is like getting phone calls from Tess, who's trapped in the office building, being attacked, like zombies everywhere. And so he's like, no, I've got to go get my girlfriend. Yes, he's got to go get this girl who finally has agreed to go out with him. So Aziz is torn between going with his brother Mo and everybody to the safe zone and going to get his girl. And so they all venture forth out of the police office, or police station, whatever you want to call it, and fight zombies. You can see the Shaun of the Dead types things going on here, right? You can see the Walking Dead type references that here. There's definitely little bits and pieces of the film. They're giving a little kudos here and there to different films. Not all necessarily horror genre, like zombie films. There's, you know, several references to Scarface. But yeah, there's other things going on. And heck, there's some even more modern day horror films that I think they're referencing in this. So yeah, it's essentially them going on the adventure of fighting the zombies through the city, and doing weird, funny stuff in the meantime. Now you notice how I'm not really giving this film like huge praise. I'm not laughing when I'm saying that it's funny, because there's a couple of moments where I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny. And I will say that the Nolan character played by Uriah, he's definitely probably the funniest thing in the film. And I do think a portion of this film not being super funny for me comes from the fact that it's not in English. So, I mean, the jokes, the inflections, the way they're delivered, you can't even really tell if what they're written is exactly what they're saying, and I don't know that comedy comes come through very well in subtitles. I mean, sometimes yes, they do, but if there's a joke that's been done via verbally, it's hard for it to come across as funny. As well, there may be references to things that are only Netherlands related, right? Like, I don't know. I just think of them as being general, and we're, related there, and maybe that is what they were actually going for, or maybe it's something specific that is only happening in Dutch television or Dutch movies, and I have no reference to those. So if there's any of those jokes, I will miss those completely. Then you get the sort of slapsticky type stuff. Some of it is good, some of it is bad, but a lot of it just falls flat. It's just kind of meh. Now, if you haven't seen a lot of films like Shaun of the Dead, like even just, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that kind of stuff already, maybe you're younger and you're just getting into these type of things, and this is one of those videos that you pop in and you're like, ha ha ha, this is kind of funny. You might get something a bit more out of it, but I'm watching it having seen a lot of the stuff already, and I'm not seeing too much that's new, and a lot of it I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but it just, I don't think they went over the top enough. So there's some things that they kind of try and be realistic with, and some things that they're kind of trying to be, over the top with, and some things they're just trying to be funny with. The mixture isn't all quite there. I don't know. It is very fast paced, which is good. I don't know what the running time on it was. I didn't write that. 86 minutes. So an hour and a half. Goes by pretty fast. And yes, the ending is decent, but even the delivery of the ending should have been funny, but I didn't think it was funny. It just, I mean, it even sets up the possibility of a sequel, but as far as I know, there's no sequel to this film, which means, if it was really, really good, even in, the Netherlands or something, there should have been a sequel greenlit if it was popular, but I don't think it was. I don't know. That being said, yeah. CG work ranges from decent. I mean, there's a few good CG moments. There's a lot of decent, but there's a few really bad ones. Gore is mostly of a green nature because the zombies are all green-blooded and spew green. But there's a lot of dismemberment and decapitations, and a lot of that's done through CG and such. There's yeah, I mean the zombies, for the most part, if there's anything like really crazy over the top on them, it's CG work instead of makeup work. Most of the makeup work is just, give them a little gray and green and, maybe a little dark around the eyes or something like that, which I was kind of disappointed with, considering the fact that they put some money into this. They were closing down all sorts of different sections. It was a professionally done production, not necessarily a big budget one, but like a moderate budget film, I guess, in Dutch standards. I don't know what the going rate for Netherlands film is, but yeah, I don't know. It just, the action was kind of lacking. The gore was not really there, but mainly the story was meh. And the things that they really needed to uplift that story, be it either sex, which, yeah, you get a couple of good-looking women in the film, but that's it. And most of the time, it's just running around and killing zombies and stuff, which isn't really exactly, something you really, well, maybe it is your thing, I don't know. If it's your thing, I don't want to know. But yeah, and then you get the gore, lots of gore, which is kind of what makes this go, but the gore is, like I said, it's mostly CG, so if you're looking for that visceral feeling that you only really get from either high-end CG or physical effects, you're not going to really get it here. Most of the physical stuff looks like rubber arms and stuff like that. It's something that I would expect to see in a low budget film from North America. That being said, it's not completely unwatchable, but it's not really something that you have to watch multiple times. It's like you watch it once, okay, I've seen it. You don't really need to go back to it. There's better zombie films, much better zombie films that you can watch multiple times. This isn't a multiple time zombie film. If it was funnier, maybe. But I've said this before on the channel, I don't know if you've ever, but comedies I find are very rare that you want to watch them over and over and over again. We all have our kind of like our favorite ones that we do watch more than once, but it has to be something that's really kind of either it hit home for you for some reason or another, and the comedy has to be really, really good. This is not really, really good. It's not even good. It's not even decent. It's just kind of meh. It's there, but nothing spectacular. So I give this a 2 out of 5. That's the best I can do on it. Looks okay. Acting it could have been better. I think there are things that were well directed to make it funny, but for some reason it just didn't come across as funny. Maybe it was the editing, maybe it was the way it was put together, I don't know. But there are certain scenes where I'm like, this should have been really, really funny, but I'm not laughing for some reason. So the delivery of it somehow didn't work. And so, yeah, I don't give this necessarily a recommend. There are better zombie films out there, but there are much worse zombie films out there. So this one kind of falls in that little bit in the middle, lower middle, which is why I give it a 2. It's not a 2.5. It's not right in the middle. It's kind of below the middle, but it's definitely above those really bad ones. So yeah, that was Kill Zombie, or also known as Zombibi, I guess was the original film title. I don't understand why changing it to Kill Zombie, but it is what it is. Yeah, would people have not gotten Zombibi? right? I don't know. Was there another film called Zombie? I don't know. But yeah, there you go. If you've seen the film, comment down below what you thought of it. Keep it spoiler free as much as possible, even though I did give away the beginning, partially. But yeah, there you go. The end of the 31 Days of Horror 2020. We'll be back for 2021. Probably. I got a lot of movies to watch. Anyways, thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. Stay spooky. Blah, 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 blah.